There are 10 specific things I learned from Enterprise Rent-A-Car to grow a home service business. And in this video, I'm going to break down all 10 things so that you can apply them to your business and grow faster and more profitable. Now, quick context, most people see my content and think I'm just a marketing guy, when in fact, I was actually built as an operator. I was trained at Enterprise, which is a $27 billion family-owned business, on how to grow a local service business. I was actually one of the top branch managers and won multiple Diamond Club awards. I took all those skills from Enterprise and went directly into a home service business where I worked at a $2.7 million business, helped them go to 5 million, and then sell to private equity. But more importantly, 300,000 in profit to 900,000 in profit. And the systems that made that happen, a lot of them were from Enterprise, and we still implement them in home service businesses today because they drive real results. So let's break down all 10. The first thing Enterprise taught me was to track year-over-year performance. We had this report that we use called the BMI report. The BMI report would allow us to see year-over-year data. So every single morning at 6:30, I come into the branch, I pull the numbers, and then I'd sit down with the team and I say, okay, here's how we're trending. Our sales are like this. Our average cars on rent is like this. Our average ticket is like this. And I would be breaking it down, and then I would give them encouragement and talk to them about what we need to fix to hit our goals. Now, this was very important. Every single month, I would sit down with my manager and review it. The reason I would review it is because I got paid off of the bottom line. So I got paid off the P&L as a branch manager. So I was looking at growth year over year because that's how I would increase my income, because my target earnings was based off of last year's performance. So if I could increase performance, then I could make more money. So I would look at it every single month, dissect what needed to get fixed, and then fix it. And then I would go in with my team every single day, and I would have execution on the numbers. Now, since I was paid off the P&L, I had a direct reason why I needed to fix this. At Enterprise, though it is a $27 billion family-owned business, they still run these branches as if they are franchise branches. They still give a percentage, usually like 2 or 3% to the branch manager, and then it flows up from there. And they're literally building operators inside of this business. Now, how does this apply to a home service business? So I go into this $2.7 million business. The guy's name's Tom. The first week, I'm like, Tom, where's the scorecards, man? And he's like, scorecards, what's that? And I said, well, at Enterprise, we had this BMI report. We looked at this stuff. So the first week, I built him a BMI report. I was looking at leads year over year. I was looking at jobs year over year. I was looking at estimate count year over year, estimates closed, total revenue, and then new customers. And I would be looking at this every single day. And here's the biggest thing, okay, is the jobs booked. Because I could say last January, we booked 500 jobs. This January, we want to book 600 jobs because we want to grow 20%. So then every day I could look, just like I did at Enterprise, I could see, okay, how are we getting closer to this? The other thing this illuminated was the problems. And this is what we still implement in businesses today, which is, let's say we get a bunch of leads, but we get 100 leads and we only get 20 jobs. That's a 20% booking rate. That tells me either the leads are bad or our intake process is bad. So we need to figure out what we need to fix. This is why we need a monthly review to look at these numbers. And then we need a daily execution to figure out how we're going to fix it. And then we need to review the numbers again to see if the fix actually stuck and changed the outcomes. Very important for home service business to apply some of these things, specifically those numbers that I just mentioned. All right, number 2 is prioritize speed to lead. I can't stress this enough. So I go into the business at the home service business and I'm like, okay, where do the leads come from? They go and sit in the Outlook inbox. I'm like, okay, so when do we call these people? Oh, well, we're handling phones and then we're going to call these people and try to schedule them. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So at Enterprise, they have this thing called red cars. Red cars is a little flashing icon in the corner of your browser, and it turns red. And the reason that it turns red is because someone just got into a car accident and their insurance company put in a request for a car for them. And now your car is flashing red. And when you click on that red car, it pulls up the person's information, and it's your job now to call them and get them a rental car. It's literally free money that's sitting there that says, you want more cars to rent? Here you go. So if it takes you 2 minutes, you're going to get there a lot faster. The person just got into an accident. They need a car. They're not going to, they might sit there for 30 minutes and wait for someone to pick them up. The tow truck driver's going to take them over here, yada, yada, yada. 2 minutes instead of 20 minutes, you're going to win the job if you get to it in at least 2 minutes. They sunk this into us. Home service application. I'm sure you can already know where this is going. If you get leads coming in via web form, or you get leads that are calls coming in and you're not answering them, it is literally speed to lead equals money. If you are not contacting these people right away, you're missing out. So at my home service business, they go into the Outlook inbox and then they might get to them. Instantly, I said, okay, we need to have a text and an email go to these people when they fill out the form right away. So when they filled out the form, they got a text and an email that asked them a question. Very important for a lot of home service businesses because it starts to move the ball forward for people. People are just looking for solutions. So they fill out a form and they say, well, we'll see who gets back to us. If you can hit them right away with a question like, can you send over a picture? Can you give me more information? Anything else that moves the ball to the next tier, it's going to instantly put you forward ahead of everyone else because you move the ball forward and you can do it automatically. It's not hard to do. You just build the automation. The third thing is mastering phone handling. This was a huge part of the training that we did at Enterprise because people, when they want to schedule a rental car, they either go online and schedule it or they call in. It's very similar to home service. They either fill out a form or they call your business. The one that we can control is phone handling. So I'm going to give you a lot of phone handling stuff on the next couple ones because this is a big one for us, okay? One, we had a rule, 2-second ring, two rings. It can only have 2 rings. So basically, if it rings once and it rings twice, it can't ring a third time. So as the owner or the branch manager, if the phone rings 2 times and I have to pick it up, something's wrong, but I'm still picking it up because we know that that's money calling, literally money calling. So at your home service business, is it 2 rings or is it just ringing off the hook and no one's answering the phone? Now we have AI answering service. It can just roll over to AI answering service and answer the call for you. I'm not saying this has to be your frontline defense, but at least have some type of a rollover. The second thing we did, and this was a big hot button for me at my home service business, was what's called no look book. So at Enterprise, if you've ever rented a car before, you may have run into this situation where you reserved a car and you show up and they don't have the car that you reserved, or you reserved a car online, you show up, they don't have it, or it's on the way, or it's not clean yet, and you're like, how does this happen? Because I've reserved it. When you reserve a rental car, you actually don't reserve the car. You're just getting on the books as if you're going to come in and get a rental car, and the branch is responsible for making sure that that car is there. So we have this thing, no look book. You can't grow if you say no. So basically, if someone calls in and they want a car, me as a branch manager, it's my job to figure out how to get them that car. Because if we want to grow our business, we just need to rent more cars. So we had this thing called no look book. When I went to my home service business, it's a big hot button because I'm sure you've experienced this with your CSRs. They're the ones that are the gatekeepers. They hold the keys to the castle. They don't want to overdo a technician because he's going to complain. They don't want this route to be like this and da-da-da. And they're the ones that are holding the keys to the castle for your growth. So what I said was, hey man, I told the business owner, I said, we need to book deals. Worst case, I'll go out and run a route with, and I'll be a helper. Best case, we get another route on the street. And now we set the precedent that we don't just do 12 routes, we do 13 routes. This was like a real story. We don't just do 12 routes, now we do 13. Who sets the precedent of how many routes that we do? No one, right? It's a demand. So the only way that we can unlock a new route is if we just push and get uncomfortable and get another route on the road. I mean, this was like a constant battle of no look books. Let's get stuff going. I'll run routes. Like, let's get after it. This is a very important one. Specifically at my home service business was at the end of the calls for Enterprise, because people will call in and say, okay, how much does it cost to rent a car? And we'd say, well, when are you looking to rent? How much? What type of car? Okay, it's going to be X amount. Then they would say, cool, I'll give you a call back. So every single time, if you get price shopped, is what it is. What they trained us to do was to say, what can I do today to secure your business? Is it a price thing? Do you want me to just get you on the schedule now so that way at least locks it in and then you can call me back? Like, what is it? But they would tell us, what can I do to secure your business today? So when I went to my home service business, I'm like, hey, we need to do this because we get price shopped over and over and over and over again. And the price shop is like, how much does it cost to get my ducts clean? It costs this amount. Bye, right? I'll call you back. I'll talk to my spouse. What can I do to secure your business? And we took it a step further at the home service business. We actually started sending out emails to these people with their estimate. So instead of just giving them a price over the phone, we would say, hey, I'll give you a price over the phone. No worries at all. But in case you call back and talk to someone else, what email should I send this over to you? That way you have it for your records. Now, this is a great way to get their email. Now we can put them into an email follow-up sequence. Very important for this step. Home service application, I pretty much just gave them all to you. Phone handling is half the battle. And I know that you would know this if you have CSRs. A lot of people just put people on the phones that just sound nice. They're a nice woman, in their 20s, and they're pleasant to speak with. That is not what this is. I would even go as far as to say we are shifting from CSRs, customer service representatives, to inside sales reps. People that track their booking rate, people that are incentivized to book deals, book jobs. And this is the shift in a lot of home service business, go from 1 to 10 million that I see all the time. All right. Number 4, track booking rate like a hawk. This one, I mean, if you just do this, you can grow your business because at this point, if you know, okay, I got 100 leads and I booked 80 of them, your booking rate's 80%. All you got to do is just get more leads. That's it. You know that if you get this many leads, you're going to book this many jobs. It's a beautiful thing. So at Enterprise, we knew that calls equaled reservations. So what we did at Enterprise was we had a manual way to track this, and it was the dash 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 X method. Not too formal. There's ways to do this now with tools like Service Titan or other things that do it, virtually with your CRM. But what we did was I would have my team with the clipboard, and they got a call that came in. They would put a dash, so one of the dashes, and then when they actually booked it, they would make it into an X. So then they would have a running tally of like dash dash X dash X dash dash. Then at the end of the day, they could tally it up. Okay, I got 10 calls and I booked 3 of them, and they would send me a report with their booking rates. So then I could see on a daily basis how many leads we got and then how many we actually booked. And I would know, okay, I know that 60%, 70% is a good booking rate for Enterprise. For home service business, 62%, what Service Titan found is like that is like top of the line. And then 42% is about average. I would go a step further with home service businesses. We didn't do this at Enterprise, but what I did at my home service business was we tracked the web forms into actual jobs as well, because that is a booking rate. There's a level to getting leads and then actually booking them and not just calling them once and letting them fly by and never talk to them again. Same exact thing with the booking rate. What can I do to secure your business today? You got to have some type of like a lock-in so that way you can get that X on the board and not just rely on dashes, especially for home service business. The biggest application here is you're going to be paying 100, 200, 300, more than that per lead, right? If you run ads, even if you just pay for a marketing company, you're going to be paying a bunch of money for leads. And a lot of people just get one shot at them and then they're gone forever. This is why you need to track your booking rate like a hawk. Super, super important. All right, number 5, measure customer service systems. Okay, so I go into my home service business and we have 36 Google reviews, and this is a $2.7 million business. Okay, and this is not just like, oh, this was in 2018. No, this was like they didn't have a system. So at Enterprise, we had a system. It's called ESQI. It's Enterprise Service Quality Index. Basically what ESQI is that every single month, every single branch gets an ESQI score, and it's a part of your rankings as a branch or as a team member. So ESQI is something that they track on a monthly basis, and they have a system for it. So the first thing that they would tell us to do is the customer has to remember your name. So when I went to my home service business, I said, hey guys, for the technicians, every single encounter, the customer has to know your name. So when you go up to the front door, you need to introduce yourself, tell them, hi, my name is Phil. I'm here to do your duct cleaning. If you need anything throughout the service, holler Phil. Then halfway through, hey, let me show you this real quick. By the way, remember, my name is Phil. If you need anything, just holler for me. But let me just show you this thing. At the end, hey, let me send you some pictures. Text them. Hey, this is Phil from Flash Consulting. Here's your stuff. Then when you ask them for a review, you say, hey, by the way, do you mind leaving me a review? That's my boss know that I'm doing a good job. If you don't mind putting my name in there, it gives me some recognition back at the shop. Boom. Remember your name all the way through the funnel. If they remember your name, they're more likely to buy something from you. They're more likely to trust you. They're more likely to leave you a review and have a great positive experience with you. This is what they trained us at Enterprise. It worked at the duct cleaning company. We went from 36 Google reviews to 1,000 Google reviews in the first year. Now they have over 5,000 Google reviews, and they use the same system of the technician name asking for the review. All right. Now, at Enterprise, I'm sure if you've rented a car before, you've had some crazy experiences, potentially, nail in the tire, dead tags, the tags were expired, oil change. I mean, I could tell you a bunch of stories, but at the end of the experience, usually when you rent a car, it might be for a week. If you really get in accidents, it might be for months. And at the end of the experience, we would ask 3 questions. And this is what Enterprise literally trains us from the day that you start to ask these questions. We would say, how is everything with the customer service you received from me? Then they would say, oh, it's good. Is there anything I could do better for next time? No, it was great. Awesome. So that's the first 2 questions. Then let's say, hey, how's everything with our customer service? It was great. Is there anything I could do better for next time? Well, the car smelled a little bit like da-da-da. Third question, oh, I'm so sorry. Is there anything I can do to make it up to you? Those are the 3 questions because it shows that you care and it doesn't let problems linger for your brand or your business. So we would implement this in every single thing. Now, at the home service business, you could do this with next day calls or happy calls. After the service, you have your CSR or your office manager call out and ask those questions. Hey, when Phil was out there, how is everything with the service? Is there anything we can do better as a company for next time? It shows that you care about your experience. It shows that you care about your customers. And then it shows that you get real feedback from them and then you fix the stuff. It's crazy, I know, but this works. This works really, really well to diffuse issues. The reason is because ESQI, the way they did it, it was random. They would call random customers that you served and they would ask them, how how happy were you with the service? How likely would you be to refer us? And if they didn't say 10 out of 10, you got a point knocked off. So we tried as a company to diffuse the problems before it got to them. And it's very important. We also did next day calls. So imagine if you're renting a car, you get in a car, you've never driven it before, and then you drive off the lot and you have it for the next week. What we would do is we would call people the next day and say, hey, Phil here, I helped you before. I just wanted to check in. Do you have any questions about the car? Anything that I could help you with? Just want to make sure that you're all good. It just shows that you really care about them in your vehicle, and then it's good to go. This crushed it for us and helps with the ESQ. Actually, at my branch, I had the top ESQ. I had 97, which majority, like on average, was around 89. So like I was like, this was like my bread and butter stuff was ESQI customer service. Next day calls crush, home services crushes next day calls. Home service application. I'll give you one other secret sauce one. So if you use an automation tool, after an invoice happens, you can set up an email to go out from your customer service manager that just is a simple next day call type of email, checking in. Hey, my name's Phil. I'm the manager over here. Just want to check in and see how everything was going. See if you had any questions. How was the service you received from us? Da, 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 da. It's a nice way to automate it. I would recommend still doing the phone call because it's just way more personable and it shows that you care a lot more. All right, so that's number 5. Now, I put together actually 7 playbooks to grow home service businesses. Last year, our average client grew anywhere from $250,000 to $1 million in revenue. So about 27% in their business. We know this because we actually pull their data. So we do the first thing, we pull year-over-year data for them. But I put together all 7 playbooks on how to utilize them. I'll put the link down below. If you're $1 to $10 million home service business, I guarantee that these will help you grow your business. All right, next up, number 6, local partnerships drive revenue. So at Enterprise, we would get obviously people calling us for residential type of stuff, but there are local body shops, local hotels, local insurance agents that all these people could refer us business. And it was our job as the branch to cultivate that relationship to help us grow. So we were literally going and doing local referral relationships. So what we would do is we would look at body shops year over year, so January to January, and we would look at the body shop count of how many jobs they sent us. So this body shop sent us 20 last year. Now this year they sent us 30. And we would be tracking our local referral relationships for who's up and who's down. And what we would do was we would go out and manage a book of business. So we would go out and build relationships with these people. Specifically, like with body shops, if they refer someone to you and you do a bad job, they're not going to refer them to you again because it directly relates to their experience with the body shop. So you need to make sure you treat them well. Same thing with insurance agents. So this is why you have to manage the book of business and touch base with these people. The home service application, there's so many applications to this. I did a whole webinar with Jobber on B2B partnerships because what happened was I went to my home service business and about 1.5 of his 2.7 million was all through referral partners. And we had a whole system for the referral partnerships. The essential thing is find the complementary services. So I mentioned when I did rental cars, it was like body shops. Of course, they're going to refer you business because people are taking their car to get fixed and they need someone, mechanics. At a home service business, then think about if you do roofing, you find gutter cleaning companies, electricians, you find property management companies. There's a bunch of different list of them. And you build relationships with these people and you cultivate the relationship and then you get referrals coming into the business. It's really great. And the beautiful thing is you don't have to rely on algorithms. You don't have to rely on residential COD work. And you can just build relationships with people and they send you customers. Number 7, maximize every sales opportunity. If you've ever rented a car, you know that they're going to try to sell you the insurance. They're going to try to sell you the prepaid gas. They're going to try to sell you the upsell, all this stuff, right? So they have the thing. It's like literally build the ticket. So the first line of defense is get the car on the books, the reservation on the books. Then when they come in, now you need to build the ticket. And the way that you build the ticket is through your customer experience. And you have to be asking questions so that way you could build the experience. So this is a really cool thing. And I want to nail this part home because I think if you can get this, it's a really cool way to build your CSR inside sales reps team and technicians, because this is what we did at my home service business. So the first thing at Enterprise, we had this thing called PowerPoints. PowerPoints are literally the numbers of sales that you do. So when you go to rent a car, they're going to offer you like the collision damage waiver. They're going to offer you the roadside assistance. They're going to offer you the supplemental liability insurance, like these different things. Each one of those that we would sell got tallied up into what's called a PowerPoint. So then every single day you could keep track of your PowerPoints. And at the end of the month, there was a matrix that ranked you based off of your PowerPoints. Notice how they gamified sales, okay? Gamified sales. In your business, you can do the exact same thing. You can gamify sales. Gamify sales with your CSRs, gamify sales with your technicians, gamify sales with your actual salespeople. It's a game and there's a scoreboard. and everyone can see it and everyone knows the numbers and you can win things. It's awesome. Another thing that they had on the matrix was TAR, total additional revenue. Maybe they don't want to buy collision damage waiver. Maybe they don't want to buy roadside assistance, but they might want to upgrade a vehicle from a small Corolla to a big Chevy Tahoe. And that delta of what they came in to spend, $30 a day, and now they're spending $130 a day, that $100 you created out of creating total additional revenue. And they will track that. How much money did they come in? And then how much money did you generate on top of what they came in for? And they tracked it as TAR, and it went on to the matrix as well. Another one that they tracked was called I-rate, which is your insurance rate. When someone comes to rent a car, specifically with an insurance company, the insurance company is going to cover a certain amount, and the person usually doesn't want to pay any more because it's just going through insurance. I just got an accident. My insurance rate company's covering it, which is fine. But if you wanted to incentivize or grow your business, you would want to put a scoreboard together that shows, your I-rate, your insurance rate is, instead of $30, it's $33. The whole goal, the whole thing of this, I hope that you're getting this, is that it's not just about selling more things. It's about gamifying the system and really picking the things that you want to pull levers on, and then incentivizing and tracking and pushing those numbers down to your team, because you know that if they can get in line with those numbers and you can recognize them for those numbers and you can track those numbers, then it's going to grow your business. It's literally an indicator of growth. The last piece of this is they would train us to listen and help. So imagine you come in to rent a car. You know my name. I'm building rapport with you. I'm listening. You told me that you're going on a trip to the beach and you rented a Fiat, or a Volkswagen Beetle. And I'm like, that's not going to work for you because you have 7 people. So you're going to need this. So instantly I'm thinking, okay, I can upsell you on this. You probably need roadside assistance too, because if you're going to go into the beach, something happens, you don't want to have to worry about that. You get the gist. You need to listen and then help. Okay, home service application. There are so many through lines on this. A lot of times, so I go into the home service business. The CSRs, I get on the phone. They say, thank you for calling. How can I help you? Hi, I want to get my ducts cleaned. Okay, how many HVAC units do you have? 1. Okay, it's going to be $500. Okay, I'll call you back. Thanks, bye. I'm like, guys, hold on. There's no listening and helping happening. Well, why are you calling me today? What's going on? Why do you think you need your ducts cleaned? Oh, we're about to have a baby and the vents are a little dirty. I don't want the dirty vents blowing on top of them. And so I need to get this clean in the next 2 months. Cool. Well, you called the right place. We do this all the time. Where are you located at? Because I know those homes that you're listening and helping and building rapport and asking them questions. It allows you to then build your ticket, sell other things, increase the upsells. So many through lines here. But this was a really big one. And I'm sure if you rented a car, you know that they kind of nail this part home pretty hard. All right, number 8, standardize a leadership system, SOS. So part of enterprise is building these operators, these leaders. So I came in as a management trainee when I was 23, and I was an assistant manager and then a branch manager. All these things that I'm telling you, I learned when I was 25. I was running a branch at 25. We had 300 cars. We were making $3 million a year in revenue. I had 2 assistant managers. Like, this was a huge operation that I was running. And they built us as leaders. So the first thing that they did was called SOS, show, observe, shape. Anytime that we had a team member that came on board, we would operate in this light, show them what to do, observe them doing that, and then shape them the way that we want them to do it. So if we wanted to roll out a new way to handle the phones, we would show them how to do it. Let me answer the phone and show you. Then let me watch you do it, observe, and then shape. Hey, when you said this, you should probably say it like this. Let's try that again. Repeat, show, observe, shape. Over and over again, anything in your business. Hey, let's go out and build some relationships with body shops. Let me show you how to do it. Let me observe you doing it. Let me shape you next time. Show, observe, shape is a great leadership system. I still use it in my business today. And I used it when I went to the home service business because it's such a great, practical, easy way to help train people. The next one that Enterprise did, which is really cool, which I think a lot of home service businesses, when they get a 5 to 10 million, they're going to build this out, is a 12-month roadmap. It's literally having, when people, I'm laughing because this is how my business is too. People come into your business and they're like, oh, they're really good, but there's no track for them to grow. There's no like, hey, you come in as a junior technician and then after 12 months once you pass this exam, then you move up to the next thing. And then after that, you move up to the next thing. And then you can go over here and you can do this or do that. A lot of times when they come in, it's like, you're a CSR. And then like, oh, you're really, you could probably help us with the bookkeeping, or you could probably help us with the dispatching. And it's like, you kind of pop these people to different things, but there's no actual track for growth. So at Enterprise, they had a 12-month roadmap. Everyone came in as a management trainee. which was literally like a probationary period for 12 months. And each month you had specific things that you had to track, that you had to do. And then after 12 months, you had what's called a grill. And when you do the grill would, you got in front of all the area managers and they would grill you for like 6 hours on everything about the business, all the stuff that you need to know. Like, can you actually run a business? 12 months get you to run a business. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to be good at it, but do you know the systems? Do you know the core values? Do you know how to do this? Do you know what this means? Do you know what you should do if that happens? This is why they had the grill. And then you would graduate from that to what's called a management assistant. So management trainee to management assistant. This is when the probationary period was unlocked. The management assistant, now you're able to get promoted. Management trainee, you can't get promoted. Management assistant, you can get promoted to inside of corporate. You can go to an assistant manager, branch manager, but they had a track for actual growth. How does this apply to home service businesses? I'm sure you can tell. If you have customer service representatives, you should have a track for them. If you have technicians, you have a track for them. There should be some type of a leadership system happening, one-to-ones happening on a regular basis, goals, settings, working towards things. It's very important. I know like 1 to 3 million, it's really hard to do because you have a small team and you're running around doing things. I would say like 3 to 5 million, this starts to unlock. And then 5 to 10 million, this is like, you have to do these things. You have to build this inside of your business, or you're not going to be building people up. You're just going to be managing people all over the place. And you really need to build them. And they built leaders in a system. So number 9 is to promote from within. Enterprise builds operators from the ground up. I just mentioned how they do that. Now, the cool thing is that they only promote from within. So everyone from the management trainee to the CEO of the company all started as a management trainee. So you can literally see the future of all the way up to the CEO of the company from where they were at. And the cool thing about this is that no one can say, well, I never did that role. Or no one can, when they tell you to do something, it's not like they never did it. So it's a really cool experience, right? It's a $27 billion family-owned business that everything was built from the ground up, promoted from within. And one thing that I really like about this is that there's competition internally. You know who you're competing against, and you know that there's going to be promotions available and that you need to compete against them to get those promotions. There's not going to be people from outside that randomly come in and take this thing. It's going to be people that are right there in the trenches with you that you're competing against day in and day out. It creates this culture of competition, literally. The way that they do this was they had this matrix. I alluded to it earlier with the building the ticket thing. On the matrix, what they had was whatever those core things were. So like PowerPoints, insurance rate, ESQI, but they would have them for all the positions. So like a management trainee, those were some of the ones that I mentioned, but like an assistant manager might have different things. Branch manager might have retention if they wanted to drive retention for like their team members to not leave. Whatever it was that they wanted to drive over that quarter or year, they would put on the matrix, and that's how they would track performance against every single person. And literally a qualification for promotion was, were you the top half of the matrix? Like, were you the top half, cream of the crop? If you were not the top half, then you're not up for promotion and you need to get to the top half. This is literally top grading at its finest. You're literally grading out all the people, and only the cream of the crop rises to the top and gets promoted. This is why, like, when I told you I was really good, I got promoted a lot. And you will get promoted if you do a really good job. If not, you're going to fizzle out and leave the company. You either move up or you move out. So you're not just sitting around stagnant, because the people below you that are coming up, they want your position. So if you're bottom half of the matrix, you're out. The new people are coming in. They have this concept feeder system coming into their business. It's really cool. Home service applications, same thing. I think a lot of times it's easier, 1 to 3 million business to just like try to bring someone in from the outside, because we don't have the leadership fundamentals to build people up. And I'm not saying that you have to do that. What I am saying is that there's something to be said about people internally inside of your business and coaching them to be leaders, like investing in them, like you invest in yourself to build them up. That's going to go a lot farther than bringing someone in externally. Also, you have to be careful in this, that you don't, promote someone who's not going to be good at that position and then they should be good at that other position. So this is a really cool one though, because I think there's a lot of opportunity for people to promote from within, and they don't do it because they don't have the systems to build leaders inside of their business. And then number 10, operators win business. I can't stress this one enough. They knew that their brand was the most valuable thing that they own, and they built operators to grow. This is why they had a numbers and reporting system. So if you don't have a numbers and reporting system in your business, and you're just looking at your total revenue, your bank account numbers, and your ARs, like those are all indicators of things that already happened, and you're just trying to play catch up. I'm talking about forecasting, numbers, and reporting of like where we're going and how we're going to fix things to grow your business. Next is a sales system. I just literally wrote out a ton of different sales systems that they implemented. in your business, if your sales system is like, my CSR gets a call, then they book me to go out and do a sales job or something like that, like that is a system, but it's not a scalable sales system. So you need to go through and think about and document every single step of the way. When someone fills out a form, what happens? Is that the best sales system possible that I just told you, or something else that you know? Then when you send an estimate, what happens from there? After the job is done, what happens from there? How do I get people coming back into my funnel? Like, this is the sales system that you need. Same thing with referral partners. Like, do I have a sales system to get more referrals coming to my business, to get repeat business coming back? The customer service system. I walked you through the whole customer service system of like ESQI and how do you get better ESQI scores? How do you get more reviews? How do you roll this out? How do you track it? Leadership system. How do you coach people and build operators? These are all things that they're doing inside of their business, the $27 billion family-owned business, that you can do inside of your home service business today. So I'm sharing this with you because as a business owner myself, I know that it can be hard, and you see businesses out there that are top performers, specifically a family-owned business that's not franchised, that's doing billions and billions and billions of dollars. Like, what do? This is what they do. If you want a marketing company that understands how to grow a home service business, I took all of these things and I plugged them into my home service business. And then I fixed the marketing side plus the operation side, and it explodes growth in businesses. Last year, our average client grew 27%. Those 7 playbooks that I mentioned that I put down below are literally the playbooks. If you need help with this, I'll put a link down below. You can schedule a call. We'll talk about your business, see if we might be able to help you. And I look forward to the opportunity to work with you.